Guys, oh, I'm falling asleep. I'm so tired from the trading day today. Today was probably the longest, most strenuous, most tiresome, enduring trading day that I've ever experienced, with the most ups and downs I've ever had in a single day. And I think part of that is the fact that we have GameStop, which is moving in a way that stocks have never moved before and doing ridiculous, crazy things. And some of it is the fact that I revenge traded, and I traded poorly in some spots. So let's get into the trades. I'm going to go chronologically as I usually do. This is probably going to be a bit of a longer recap, but I want to make this as brief as I possibly can. So I'm going to try to go quick and skip on details that I don't need to go over. But let's get into it. GameStop today, obviously everyone's eyes are on this. I remember I always wake up in the middle of the night and check on this thing pre-market, and man, when I saw this thing hitting highs of 510 or so, I just couldn't believe it, and I knew today was going to be a heck of a trading day. But obviously selling off dramatically coming in to the open. But actually, the first trade I believe that I took was on BBBY, Bed Bath & Beyond. I took a really quick long here and should have given this one a little bit more room, but I stopped out on this candle down here and took $125 profit on that trade. That's it. Done with that one. That one I traded once and was done with. GameStop consumed the rest of my morning, and you can just see today how many trades I had on this thing, which yesterday was no different. I had a lot of trades on this yesterday, and anyway, let's get into it. I traded this well early on. I think I banked profit in here, and then my trading in here was good. Nice longs here, and I think overall the summary from the morning is good entries, good exits, and some generally good trading on GameStop. Here I tried for this bounce to look for it to come back up to VWAP. Had to stop out on that. I only went for 5 shares, so really not a big deal there. But as you can see, really buying these dips well. This was a really nice trade that put me up over 700, or probably not 700, like $550. I think I was up on GameStop after this one. Here stopping out for a really small loss, but this was the big trade on GameStop for me today. Then after GameStop, I was up 580 on GameStop. I was up 125 on Bed Bath & Beyond. I was up 700 on the day at that point. Then we had this IPO, Qualtrics International. Look how I traded this. I traded this. This is when my trading for the day started to take a dive. This is when I started to lose my mojo. I went long on this candle right here, 200 shares for the break of 43. Very aggressive trade, but slightly smaller size, not small size by any means, 200 shares, but not risking too much. Pops up. I'm not able to take any profit. I'm looking for more because I'm looking for this candle to form and then continue higher. It doesn't do so. It comes down and forms a really bearish candle here, and I'm down on this position thinking about and panicking on how to get out of it and unravel it. But so instead of taking the loss, which I wait for this candle for, maybe we're going to come back up. Nope, we're coming back down, and I should have taken my loss quicker on this, but I think I was thinking that my stop would probably be around here at the low, and as this candle was kind of coming down there, I thought I'd give it a little bit more room. Here I tried to stop out as it was decisively breaking this low, but for whatever reason, my order to sell was only for 10 shares. It wasn't even a partial fill. My order size was only on 10 shares, even though it said 200 here. I hit sell, and it was only a 10 order sell. Anyway, I ended up stopping all the way down here at 41.25 near the low of this candle. Boom, instantly it's bouncing back up, and it just makes new highs, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's coming back up. I'm pissed that I got out right at the low, as sometimes that happens. And so as it comes up here, I'm like, okay, this is where I start revenge trading, and I know what I'm doing. I know I'm revenge trading, but I just could not help myself because I was so pissed that I had basically the worst entry and the worst exit on 200 shares on this stock. It put me down about $350 on this, so that put me only up about $350 on the day total. So I was really pissed that I gave back half my profit, and I wanted to make it back. So what did I do? I entered for 500 shares this time instead of 200. I got out 100 shares of profit here, and then as this candle came down, you see it has this big wick. It came all the way down here, and I was like, oh, dang it, I'm going to lose on these 500 shares. So what did I do? I got out all the rest of those shares with just about a 10-cent win on each of them. and then it shoots right back up to the high of the candle, 42.87. And then this candle continues higher, and I'm just like, oh my god, what am I doing? I keep selling at the worst spots. It just pops right back up after I sell at the low of this candle. Huge bummer. And then so I'm like, what do? I get back in on this candle as it comes up here, 43.22, but I'm super scared. I know this is a bad entry because I'm getting in high. So what do? I sell for 3 cents of profit for 500 shares, and I'm out. And then here again, and adding another 500 shares at an even higher price, 42.87 here on this dip. And then I sell out for about 13 plus 8, 21 cents of profit on that, so a little $100 win. So I'm kind of scraping my way back of that $350 loss. Here, an explosive candle. I'm in for 300 shares and out for 3 cents of profit. Here, I'm in just below 44 for the break of 44. We get that break of 44, and I take all 500 out for 20 cents of profit on 500 shares. That is a $200 winner. And with this last trade here on 300 shares, I was able to turn the stock green from a $350 loss scalping it. So as poorly as I traded it, I was still able to profit on this stock. So at this point in the day, I'm up $700. Still looking good after recovering a $350 loss. Guys, this is where it just gets ugly. This is just where it gets ugly. Looking back on this, it's just a trade that I shouldn't have taken, but I'm close to saying that. That's close to being my conclusion, but the reason I'm not quite there is because I still don't quite understand why the stock is lower than it was after this news. News came out. I don't remember exactly what the news was, but I remember thinking this is definitely a positive catalyst. The stock spikes very strongly, 253, up $20 a share in a minute on super high volume. This tells me this is real news. This is happening right now. It was going into a halt. Like, things were happening quickly. I wanted in because I thought this news looks good. I want in. The second it dips, I'm in for 25 shares right here on a dip right here. And actually, I was in for 25 shares a little earlier right here looking for the break. I bought super high, and I was actually able to get out at my exact entry price, and I got away unscathed. You see my entry is 276.69. Literally the high of this candle. I got in and out on 25 shares. Super lucky. Total mistake. I don't know why I did that. I think I bought the ask at the high of the candle. I was looking for a breakout extension higher because I thought the news was great, but it wasn't. Comes crashing down here. I'm in for 25 shares at 68.25. I'm in for 25 shares right here. It crashes down. I wait for another candle here to form, and then as it dips even further, I'm like, oh man, this is a great opportunity to average down. So what do? I buy the dip here as it comes through VWAP. I buy at 259.50, thinking we're going to get a bounce off VWAP here and probably a pop back up, and I'm looking for the bounce. Not the case. On 100 shares, I'm losing by the bottom of this candle $6 a share on 100 shares at $600. Boom, this candle just crashes down against me. We do get a pop back up here, 259. What's the high here? 259.98. I could have gotten away with about 48 cents of profit on those 100 shares, and I could have just cut my position at the top of that candle. That would have been nice, but it's all just ifs and buts at that point. I thought maybe we'd bounce and get that continuation through VWAP, and I was looking for higher. I really wanted to not be red on it, and oh man, what a mistake it was to not take the position out right there, because at that point in time, I think if I had gotten out there, I would have had $100 or less of losses on this stock. I would have been still up $600 on the day, but again, it's all just ifs and buts in the end. Crashing down here to 251, and then on this candle, oh man, all the way down to 247. I was down, well, I don't know, do the math, over $1,200 at that point. I made a quick dip trade actually and recovered. That's over $300 little dip trade there that I made to get a little bit of it back. But oh man, it came and I was looking for this to ramp up, and it just never did, and I was just in denial. I didn't want to cut the position. I add another 100 shares here at 248. That's not even close to the bottom of this candle. And then as it's coming back up, I don't take profit. I'm looking for it to finally come up here to VWAP. Nope, it just slumps. It just slumps, and on this candle, I'm just like, that's it. What am I doing? I'm getting out. I cut 225 shares, and that is an ugly $1,350 loss on Amgen, and just so disappointing. Usually buying the dip works, and you guys know that my strategy is, one of the things I do a lot is buying the dip, and I buy the dips and I look for the pops back up, and on candles like this it works beautifully, where you get $3 a share on 100 shares and you recoup $300 right there. But other times it just slumps and it just goes down, and you never get that significant pop back up. And anything can happen in trading, and these are some of the losses that just really suck. And so after this put me down 1,300 on this. So since I was up 700 before, coming away from this trade, a lot of emotions. I hadn't eaten lunch yet. I was like super like, oh my god, I'm so frustrated and upset. So coming out of this, I was down about $650 roughly on the day, because I was up 700 before. I just lost 1,350. So now I'm sitting down like $650. Oh man, because up 700, I'd be up like 700 like 3 days in a row. I've had really good days of gains, and I was really proud of the way I traded GameStop, and I felt really good about it. And to just lose all of that and more on this stupid trade is so emotionally, it's like a bludgeon, and it's just, oh man, it just so sucks, because it just makes you feel like at the end of the day you're just a terrible trader. You get these thoughts creeping into your mind that are like, oh man, like I thought I was trading so well, and then I just go and do something like this. And I was trading XM, and I lost $350 on that, no big deal. And I was able to trade my way back to break even on that stock and at my highs of the day in terms of my P&L. And then right here, just, oh man, I don't know whether to think I just got unlucky where there's no bounce, and this is just one of those times where you just lost and it just went against you, or if I think like, man, you went way too aggressive on this. You should have just cut the 25 shares when it broke through VWAP. You should have just, why do you keep buying? Stop averaging down. A lot of things going through my head. But anyway, let's continue. It gets worse from there, if you can believe it. Look at my trades on GameStop. So what I went over with you was with you guys earlier in this video was just up until this point. Then after the Amgen trade, well, I'm super pissed. I'm down $600 now, where I was up 700 before, and I'm like, well, if there's any stock that's going to instantly put me green on the day and get me back to where I was before, what's the best stock I can revenge trade right now and make all of it back like that? Well, it would be GameStop, right? So that's exactly what I did, and it's so frustrating that, like, I think it was the perfect storm emotionally for me to go from up 700 to down 600 to just want to make it all back so quickly. So coming into these trades, once again, I think I had about a $580 profit on GameStop. So that was one of my winners on the day. I had traded it well up until this point. So here we go. In at 260, taking 10 shares out at 264. I'm in for 100 shares here, guys. I haven't taken that size all day. 100 shares, look, I'm taking 5 share positions. So, I mean, clearly I'm trying to revenge trade back into the green like that. That's my goal. And this is ridiculous. You should not trade like this. What am I thinking? 100 share position on GameStop. I'm really embarrassed that I traded like this today, because this is not this is not smart. This is foolish. I should have walked away with the $600 loss. So in for 100. You guys are probably thinking back of mind, like, now I'm only down 100 on the day. So just keep watching. You'll see. But right here, this is just not something to be proud of. And it's at 260. I got 10 shares out in profit. I should have taken all of it out. I would have banked $400 profit on that and been up over, that would have been great. $400 profit. I should have just gotten out. Nope, it collapses. I stop out on 90 shares for a $9 loss on 90 shares. Or for a $9 loss, basically a $10 loss on 90 shares. That is a $900 loss right there, minus the gain I got, that small gain I got on 10 shares right there. Wow, so just like that, I went from up on the stock to down on the stock, just like that. So, wait, right? 9 times, wait, hold on. Is my math right? 9 times 90, yeah, that's an $810 loss. I guess my math isn't very good right now. My brain is just too fried. $810 loss. I was up about $600 on it before, as I said, maybe 580, then losing 810. Oh my God. I take that trade. I remember I was thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm just losing. I'm revenge trading. Holy crap. What am I doing? I'm breaking all my rules. This is just a complete nightmare. What do? I keep going. I continue the nightmare. In for 100 shares. I'm scared. I get out for $80 gain. In at 258. Looking for that ramp back up through the highs. Nope. Stopping out. Another $400 loss there. Here, very quickly, buying the dip at 241, $300 recouped right there. And that's where I'm like, okay, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. And so after that, I was down on this stock. I don't even remember how much, but I was down on it a lot. And then after these trades on the day, I was down $1,500. $1,500 was my loss for the day. Just about $1,500. So I was up $700 on the day. Now I'm down $1,500. So emotionally, I was just in a terrible, terrible place. So what the hell do I do? What I decided to do? I'm looking at it pre-market. I want to keep trading this. I know not pre-market, aftermarket. I know this thing can have some crazy, crazy moves. So I was watching it, and I was so tired and exhausted, and I was debating, like, look, I know I should just walk away. I can walk away now. $1,500 loss. It's painful. It sucks, but it doesn't completely kill me. I've lost worse, and I can just walk away, but I didn't. I'm watching this here. I was watching it right here at this low. I was watching this come down. I'm thinking, man, should I buy the dip? Like, I want to go in here, but I just don't know, because at any moment GameStop could sell off like it did earlier in the day when it had this huge sell-off and going into those halts going down. So I was just scared. I didn't want to take the position, but I was watching it in here, and sure enough, pops up, comes down back to the low, and I was thinking, is it gonna make a double bottom here? I don't know. If it breaks below this level, I cannot afford to lose anything else on it. Boom. It bounces. It comes up. I'm watching this. I'm going, oh, man. If I had taken 100 shares at this low, 193 up to 240, I mean, that's almost $4,000 of gain on 100 shares on GameStop just right there. That would have put me way green on the day. So I was just salivating over what I just missed, and I was like, oh my God, it was an emotional, like, roller coaster for me today. Hopefully this is entertaining for you guys, seeing my back and forths on this. And then, it continues even higher, up to 265, hitting a high of 282. I'm watching this thing just going, oh man, like, why am I not in this right now? I could be turning my day green. Frustration. So what do? I wait for a pullback, and I'm in on the first 1 minute candle to make a new high here. First green candle setting up. Looking for this to test VWAP again. Nope. It crashes literally a minute later against me. 272. I'm in it for 50 shares. So every dollar it moves, I'm making or losing $50. It crashes down to 256 right here, down to 253. That's almost a $20 loss. That's almost $1,000. That's $1,000 of additional loss. Down here at this low, I was down 2,500 on the day. And you best believe my blood pressure was going. My heart was beating. I was like, Oh my God. It seems like every trade I take, I'm just losing, losing, losing. This is a complete disaster. What the hell am I doing? I'm breaking all my rules. Comes up here. I'm like, okay, maybe we have a chance now. Up to 274. I'm in the green on it. I couldn't believe it. I just took $1,000 loss and I'm green. Comes all the way back down and a new low for it right here. And I was like, 250 is the last. This is the last line in the sand. If it breaks 250, it's game over, because 250 has acted as support in the past, and to really keep this uptrend going, it needs to hold 250. I was holding it all through here, as you can see. I did not cut it. Holding here as it touches 250. And at this point in time, I'm probably I wasn't looking at my P&L, but I know that I was down on GameStop, the stock overall, well over $1,000. And then on the day as a whole, probably down close to $2,700 on the day. Wow. I mean, I keep talking about how I was feeling, but it's the case. We got a strong bounce off 250 coming up here and then back into consolidation. And that's when I noticed this kind of wedge starting to form. I deleted the other line, but I think I drew it something like this or something like, I don't remember exactly, but I had this kind of triangle formation that I noticed was forming. And I was like, okay, consolidation, this is setting up. And as long as GameStop's not breaking down below 250, I feel like there's a decent chance that we could get more squeeze here. So that's what I was looking for. I cut my position here as, oh, you know what I remember? The reason that I cut it there was because I actually had drawn this triangle like this. This is how I had drawn the triangle before. And so I saw that this was breaking down below the lower uptrend of this triangle, the uptrend that I saw. It was breaking that, so I got out. Now, keep in mind, that's 272 to 261. That's $11 on 50 shares. So, that's a $600 loss. So I keep talking about what I was down on at the day. The point is I was down a crap ton because I was down, I was down $2,000 coming out of this trade, for sure. I was down at least $2,000 on the day in total coming out of this trade. Bouncing here, and I'm instantly like, oh my God, it's having a strong bounce here. I'm getting right back in. So I'm back in at 261. All the way back down. I'm like, oh my God, okay, what is going on? I just, frustration. But I give it more time, comes back, ramps up here, coming up through my break-even price. So I'm actually up on this trade now, coming in here. And then as it starts to pull back here, I get out of the trade with $4 a share of profit, in at 261, out at 265 on 50 shares. That's $200 profit. So I was like, all right, I guess I wasn't down as much. I'm not as down as much now as I was before, at least. And then as I see this kind of ramp back up, I'm right back in. And what I liked about getting back in here was that I'm actually back in below where I got out. So I'm kind of collecting a little bit more money there as well, just getting in lower than where I sold. So I liked that too, and I was like, all right, I'm getting back in. Because the broader picture now, and I don't want to spoil this, obviously you've already seen, but the broader picture now is this is setting up a little bit. This is consolidating, setting up. We've got these kind of higher highs starting to form. Volume's still very low, but this is kind of how stocks usually start to set up before they squeeze. And then right in here, I'm long 50 shares at 263.86, and finally we get that squeeze. And I'm watching it all in here, and I'm thinking to myself, don't sell too early, because when GameStop starts to squeeze, I don't know how high it can fly, but I know it can fly high. So it comes up here, and I mean, look, I did take a lot of profit early on this thing because I wanted to secure profits on this. So 5 shares out, 5 shares out, 5 shares out, 10 shares out, 5 shares out. So that is 25 shares. That's half my position off the table already. No, that's over half my position, excuse me. That's 30 shares out of my 50 already out here. So, I could have banked a lot more on this trade if I had not sold out most of my shares so early, because look at this, continued consolidation, bouncing off VWAP, and then boom, another squeeze into new highs, taking more profit here. And then as it's making these last highs, I'm only out in, I only have a few shares left. And then I got out of my last shares down in here before the market, before after hours trading stopped. So Wow, what a whirlwind! I mean, today was just crazy. So I mean, I turned that stock back positive, and not just positive, but I'm actually up on GameStop now, $1,100, and it all has to do with this trade, trade just on 50 shares here. I have thoughts going through my mind. What if I had taken 100 shares here? Well, then I would have made double the money. That would have been great. But I didn't, because I wasn't comfortable taking 100 shares, and I mean, I shouldn't have been comfortable taking any shares. I should have been done trading for the day. But you know what? I am making the distinction on this between revenge trading and just trading a good setup. And my blood was pumping because I was down a lot on the day, and I didn't want to have more risk. I didn't want to lose more on the day. But when I'm looking at this objectively, this is a bullish setup. This is a setup. So part of me is like, I shouldn't have taken this trade. I should have walked away. But when you see this, this is a bullish setup. And so when I think about it that way, I can't really get too upset at myself for entering here, because of what we've seen GameStop do in after hours before and in pre-market. We know that GameStop can squeeze, and when it does, we know it can squeeze big. And when you see this setup on any stock, I would take that long. And I know that I was down on the day, but now I'm only down $100 on the day. What a roller coaster! And part of me is still like, dang it, I was up $700 and I'm down. Now I'm down $100 on the day. But you know what? I mean, how dare I even say that? Because I know I was down $2,500 today at my worst point, or more. I don't even know. There might have been a wick that wicked me even lower than that. I don't know. But I know I was down at least $2,500 today, day trading, which would have wiped out my gains on the week, wiped out my gains, going into last month. Because as of right now, January is a very kind of break-even month for me. And today, if I had stopped trading with $700 profit, I'd have 3 green days in a row, and good green days in a row. I'd feel really good about how I'm trading GameStop. I'd feel really good about myself, and I should have stopped trading there. Obviously, I'd have walked away from the day green and well green versus red on the day. But it is so much better to be down $100 than be down $2,500. So I don't know. I walk away from today feeling mixed. I feel like I'm proud of some of my trades, and I'm not proud of some of my other trades. I think what I'm least proud of is how I traded GameStop in here. This is kind of a bullish setup, but I'm taking 100 shares here. I mean, that is just, it's there to see. That is revenge trading. There is no excuse for this. There is no excuse for this. Even later on, I realized, look, this was just ridiculous. Now I'm going to take 50 shares. 50 shares is a big position too, but it's not 100 shares. And so taking 100 shares here when GameStop is just moving like crazy and it can flush at any moment, it's very irresponsible. And coming into these trades, I was down 600 on the day, which is, frustrating having been up 700, but it's not down 2,000 yet. You know what I mean? And this is the type of trading that you do to make yourself down 2,000. This is the kind of irresponsible trading that takes a bad day to worse. And so I'm thinking about that now and reflecting about that now, but in the moment, it's like, I just want to make back that money. And it's so difficult to not break your rules and not be so eager to jump into the stock that's moving right now and just, think the stars are going to align for me, I'm going to make it all back. And then obviously that's not the case. And I'm frustrated that I did that, because if had I not done that and I had taken this trade in the afternoon without these trades, I'd be up on the day. And when I look at this trade, I think it's really a beautiful thing. Really a beautiful thing. You see this entry? It's perfect. These exits are beautiful. All these cluster of exits are on these highs, on these lumps. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. This is a great trade. So that's why I feel mixed about today. I feel like in general I traded well today. In the morning I feel like I traded pretty well. I did really good to kind of catch this dip here, go long, and taking profits along the way here. So I have some really good silver linings, and I think in general I've traded GameStop really well. And over the last 3 days I'm up on GameStop, the stock, significantly. And really it just comes down to that AMGN trade that just totally screwed me. And this was just one moment in the day, and it could have not happened. But I feel like maybe I couldn't have avoided it too, because I just really wanted to buy the dip, and I thought this was great news. And this is a crazy move for a stock to make, popping 20 bucks and then seeing it, lower than it was before the news by 10 bucks. Crazy action on this. And yeah, I lost a lot on it. Sometimes I just impulsively press the $100 share button and I'm just in without really thinking, like, well, that's a lot of risk. You know what I mean? Like, that's actually a lot of risk. And I think on these dips, I wasn't really looking for like a setup to the long side. I was looking for like that fluctuation back up and catching that dip. And then my mistake was just not cutting the loss. So yeah, a bigger loss on this than I should have, because I took more risk on it. But I definitely was going to be trying to buy that dip on this all day long. So wow, just a crazy day, and I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. I know it was a long one, running on 30 minutes here, but man, this trading was just crazy, and I'll be back at it tomorrow, and I just want to go back to how I was trading this morning and yesterday and the day before, put today behind me, and just count my blessings and think about how lucky I am to walk away from this day only down $100. Because really, after the market is closed, it's very rare that you get an opportunity to make back money like this. And from being down at this point, at the point of this entry, I was down on GameStop probably, I don't know, probably $600. Or maybe not, at $400 maybe I was down on it, and now I'm up on it 1,100, and it's crazy. So I'm very happy to not be down as much as I was before. So I apologize for this recap being so long. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like, and I'm going to post my P&L chart, my P&L graph, my running P&L chart of today, which shows my P&L over the course of the day, which I think will be really interesting, because it'll show me up 700, then down, then up, then down a lot, and then down even more, and then finishing the day break even. It'll be a really interesting thing to look at, and it's not something you should model off of. Don't model off of any of this. I suppose there are some good trades in here that these bullish setup. This setup here is really nice, and this trade is probably one of my best trades I've ever taken, to be quite honest. In terms of gain, it's probably one of my biggest trades ever, honestly. But in terms of how I traded on XM, not good. These trades right here on GameStop, not good. So definitely some bad bruises on today's trading, but barely getting away, kind of rather unscathed. Perhaps emotionally scathed, but we'll be back tomorrow, and I just hope to trade like I know I can, and not revenge trade like this. I cannot be doing that. That is just ridiculous. So that's it from me, guys, and yeah, please leave a like on this video. This has been a long and tiresome day. I hope you guys learned something, and subscribe if you guys find this content helpful and entertaining to you. I make these recaps every single day, or almost every single day. Anyway, I'll post that running P&L chart in the Discord, so look out for that. All right, guys, that's it from me.